This is Dan Rogers, your host on We the People Town Square, coming to you from the center of the universe, the high plains of Texas, near the headwaters of the Prairie Dog Town Fork of the Red River. Today is January the 6th, 2024, and today we are here with Kelly Giles, who's running for re-election to the Randall County Republican chair.
Yep,
Kelly,
that's
welcome.
Right. That's right. Thank you, Dan.
There's a lot of words there.
Yeah, that is. Randall County Republican Party.
Yeah.
That's a lot to put on an email, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So you came in recently to be the chair.
Right. I was elected in the latter part of May of this year to serve an unexpired term or a midterm by our previous chair who retired early.
I got you. So you want to keep doing it?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been fun. There's a lot of things to do. I mean, the world, we know the world is much different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, especially when we were kids. The world is different. We have about 33 trillion in debt, and as a nation, and how that affects us locally and how we need to plan for that, because the only way to really get things back in order, we have to make changes at the county level. What happens in the culture and the structure we have at the county level migrates into the state level and then migrates to the national level. So the only way to actually start making things better is to really start picking apart our problems at the local county level and then start to make those adjustments. And that's really my goal. That's my vision. One of the things we're doing in Randall County this year, and you're part of it as well, like this evening, is to reinstate debates or forums, a series of those forums, because an election process without forums and debates really hijacks the whole system. So the original founders set us up in the grand old party system, which the Republicans, we get credit for being the grand old party. But the grand old party system is a one-party system. And we originally were not set up for a two-party system, such as Democrat and Republican. But it happened. But I feel like we need to go back to the Founding Fathers' original design as much as we can. And what that means in debates, it means that it's a competition of ideas. So when we have multiple candidates running for a position, like mine, there's 3 people running for my position. And this is not a paid position. This is pure public service. And you know that because you're the Potter County chair. You know it's a public service position. So we have to have a competition of ideas. And that's what we're doing here tonight and visiting, is we're laying out my ideas, my vision. And so my vision is that the grand old party, the big tent party, the big umbrella party, takes in everything from liberal to fundamentalist. And this is a little bit different concept than what the news media has led us to believe for many years, is that those old right-wing conservatives, there is no such thing as a right-wing conservative. There's a right-wing fundamentalist, there's a left-wing liberal, but a conservative is pretty much close to the center as far as political realm is concerned. Some will lean a little to the right of center, which I admit I do. I lean a little bit to the fundamentalist side. Some lean a little bit to the liberal side. But 70% of the electorate in any given election is just slightly to the right or slightly to the left of center. And that's why nationally they're always fighting over those middle ground people. They're not going to change the mind of the far left or the far right. Those are going to be instilled. And so they always work on the people in the center. And so I'm just slightly to the right of center. And so everybody that's out there, when you hear that term far right conservative, just remember there's no such thing as that. There's a far right fundamentalist. But anyway, so my vision is to go back to the grand old party system, to give voice to everybody, and that means everybody from liberal to fundamentalist. Everybody has to have a voice, and we have that structure in the precinct chairs or the county executive committee, the committee that we hold monthly. We have that representation. So if someone wants to come in and become politically active, they have an opportunity to do that. They have an opportunity to come in and voice their grievances. They have an opportunity to become active politically, to push their agenda or their issues. And so that system is there. And my job, I feel, is just to make sure that system is available and that the system has structure, order, and process to it, and that we maintain it, function it, deliver it on into debates, deliver it on into the primary elections, and to make sure that it's all functioning together as a complete system. So I'm sorry, that's a long-winded answer to your question.
Do y'all have an encyclopedia in your office that define all these different labels?
No, we just make them up as we go.
Okay.
Anyway,
so what is the primary function of a county chair?
The primary function, there really isn't a primary function. I will say that it's multifaceted. On one hand, if you have county elected positions or officials that are doing a good job, you want to maintain that continuity of government. So you want to encourage them to give them security in that they are doing a good job. But on the other hand, if you have an elected official who is slacking or having problems, the first thing is to go and see if there's an ability or a capability of helping that person. And so it's kind of I would say a watchdog situation, to watch the politics of the county, because you are the leader in the political realm, and to make sure that all the positions are being filled, all the elected officials. Sometimes you have to go recruit people, which I have not had a necessity to do that. And the other part is that we need to appreciate our public service officials. Every election cycle, when they come up, they have to go through the scrutiny of reelection. And I understand that that's part of the process. That's just what they have to go through. If there's challengers, that's part of it. They have to go and go through the scrutiny of debates, and again, that contest of ideas. And so a county chair is part watchdog, part support. In other words, helping if there is an official that's struggling in some area, to go and support that official and get them the help they need, or to help get them lined out. The other thing is to monitor the politics of the county, the culture, the electorate. The electorate, which is the voters, is a living, breathing thing. And so the voters, they have to absorb all this information that comes from cable news, local news, their own neighborhoods, whatever it may be. They have to absorb that. And so being that, what I want to say, that guide or that a reference point for someone who's active in politics on a day-to-day basis, to kind of be that, I don't want to say, that guide or that support for that culture. And I'll give you an example here. Right now we're going through the sanctuary city examination here in Amarillo. So it's very important how that ordinance may get written. And so because Roe v. Wade has been overturned, and also the um, the what heartbeat bill that we have here in Texas. So that changes the dynamics of a sanctuary city situation. And so when you write that ordinance for a sanctuary city, it's just a different cat now. So I think it's going to take a lot of study to do that, and being active in that process, giving input to that process. That's part of the county chair's job. It's also to go out and recruit also precinct chairs, people in the community that can come serve as a precinct chair to give their political input, their thoughts, their insight into the political realm, because we do take votes at the county executive committee when we have those monthly meetings. We take straw polls to see where someone is at, such as where the community is at, as far as like a recent school district tax rate election. We monitored that to see where the community might be and how the county executive committee straw poll compares to the actual vote when we were done. So it was pretty accurate. So we're always monitoring the politics and talking about school board. One of the other things, part of the multifaceted job of a county chair is I actually reach out to school board members. I reach out to school board administration because sometimes I think there's a lack of communication. The school district has one of the biggest budgets in the county, besides what I call the courthouse system, the county government system. So we want to be in communication with the school district, with the administration, because that's a big chunk of the taxes we pay. That's almost 3/4 of all the taxes we pay. So we want to make sure we're in stride as far as communication. We may not agree, but that's part of it, to give our opinion of what the political realm will accept. And if the school district, by the same token, wants to work with us to get information out, to distribute that, which in the last tax rate election, we absolutely did give a voice to the school district as they came around and explained the tax rate hike proposal. So, that's part of it. In Randall County, we actually have 3 school districts. We've got CISD, Canyon ISD, we've got Amarillo ISD, and we've got Happy ISD. So we have 3 school boards. We also work with the Amarillo City Commission or City Council. So we're communicating with them. We also have the Canyon City Council. We communicate with them. So Randall County is a pretty dynamic place. I feel like it's run very well, and we want to keep that going. We want to support, our employees in county government, and we want to be appreciative of the elected officials, just like you. Being a county chairman, it's a lot of money out of your own pocket, and it's a lot of time commitment, and so we want to have an appreciation for our elected officials. So I hope that it's a full realm. There is no primary. It is a multifaceted job as far as Randall County is concerned, and I can't speak to any other county. All I know is Randall.
So Randall's more involved in issues as far as pushing certain issues and supporting certain candidates.
As far as our county executive committee is concerned, okay. Yeah. So county executive committee, we have about 30. We have 31 precincts or sub precincts in the county, and we have about 24 of those filled. So we still have 6 open precincts. So at our county executive committee meetings, we talk about school board issues. We talk about jail, the county jail expansion. We talk about tax rate changes from a county level. We talk about open positions, as far as vacancies in the political electorate that may come open. We talk about that. We've talked about the sanctuary city issue and how we should approach that. So, I mean, all those things get talked about at the county executive committee meetings, which are monthly. And then the county chair, another one of the facets, is you preside over that meeting. And a lot of people don't know this, and maybe you'll agree or not agree, but, your county chair really represents the state party at the county level. That's what one of the, what I want to say, the jobs of the county chair is to represent the state party. And so that's why we preside over the county executive committee meeting. So it's many hats. You notice you and I are both wearing hats. We wear a lot of hats. And it's all to keep the political machine going, to keep it functioning. From time to time, it needs a little support. From time to time, it needs a little tough love. From time to time, it needs some scrutiny. And of course, that's what elections are for. Elections are the scrutiny of the elected officials. But by the same token, in Randall County, we have a pretty good crew there, and our county government is pretty efficient. We're very proud of that, and because of all this communication that goes on, we feel like we're doing our part as a political party to give a good, healthy function to our county governance.
Well, I may have a little bit different perspective on who we represent. I believe that the county chairs are elected by the primary voters in our county. So our duty is to represent them and to facilitate and help the precinct chairs who are also elected by the primary voters in their precinct. I don't agree in the top-down government. To me, it's bottom-up. The authority in Section 2, or Paragraph 2, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution says that the authority is vested in the individual, not the elected officials. It's the individual voter that has the authority. And we represent the people who vote in the primary. And then the state party is made up of the county chairs and the precinct chairs and the primary voters. So, and then we also have an executive committee made up of 2 representatives from each Senate district, and they make up the executive committee of the state. So the Republican Party is really bottom up, not top down.
Oh, I agree.
Because the state party doesn't even know we even exist out here, except when we have to file reports or go to some meeting or a training or something like that. So it's really at the county level, at the precinct level, and really down at the individual voter level is who we represent.
Right. And that's what I was trying to put across, if I didn't make it clearly, is that our job at the precinct chair level or having the regular meetings is to give voice and access to the political system to the grassroots folks. And if they come in and they want to get involved or they want to ask questions or they want to get directive on what's going on, that's it.
We're here to serve the voters in our county and give them information and to inform them and to help them, and kind of more like an ombudsman between the voter and what they need. So we direct them whether they need to, it's a federal issue, they need to call their congressman. If it's a state issue, their state rep. It's county issue, their county commissioner. So we kind of help educate and inform voters as to how they can be helped to the right person. And then we help get, help candidates. And we, serve the candidates in their electoral processes and give them a voice in at each county level. the ones that need it. You know, if they're running for Congress, they're going to call you and say, hey, Kelly, you're the chair of Randall County. Can you get my signs out? We do all the work.
Yeah, we do. We do the
And
groundwork.
then we facilitate with other organizations to help get all that done. So really, I think if the Texas Constitution, the primary function of the county chair is to run the business of the Republican Party in our county, preside over our executive committee meetings, and to be the spokesman for the party in our county. I think that's what the Constitution says. And then, you know, but we're not limited to that.
I think one of the big things, and we all know this is a huge factor in our politics today, is the culture. So we want to facilitate, encourage, nurture a culture of government serves the voters or the electorate and not the other way around. Government is here to serve us. And we want to make sure that culture and that attitude are pervasive through in our local government, state government. And we kind of have to work at that because it is so easy for different people to, once they get off to yonder places, to kind of forget about that. So we have to keep, you know, reminding that, hey, government is here to serve the people. We only want enough government. You know, we want limited government, just enough government to do things that we can't do for ourselves. And so excessive government is a problem. We have to continue to work at that. But in Randall County, you know, we're a pretty efficient county. We're in pretty good shape. We've got pretty good reserves. I think our debt is pretty low. We have that culture of government is here to serve the electorate or the voter. And I think in maintaining that culture, we do ourselves a great benefit as elected officials, because then, you know, it just sends us down a good path. So I think it's, I can't speak to other counties. There's plenty to do in Randall County, but I feel like, you know, we're on a good path. We want to maintain that. The thing that I guess I don't want to say I'm worried, but it is a problem at the national level, is the extremists on either end. Because if you look at the 70% of the electorate is pretty close to the center. And so,
yeah, but how do you define the center?
There you go. And I can do that for you.
Well, my point is, the job of the county chair is not to run the county. Mm-hmm. That's your county judge and your 4 commissioners. They run the business of the county.
Absolutely.
Our job is to run the party.
Yes.
Not the county.
Mm-hmm.
And the party's business is to find competent candidates that will represent the interest of the primary voters of the Republican Party and no one else. And then we have a contest in the fall between the Democratic Party's nominees and the Republican Party's nominees. And we work to get our nominees elected. And my position is, you know, when you look, and I can ask you this, and then I give you my perception, but why do you, and we hear this a lot, why is it that we work to get people elected? They claim they are conservative Republicans. Every candidate in Texas claims they are a conservative Republican, right?
They don't know what conservative is.
Well, but that's what they put on their signs. Every sign, I'm a conservative Republican. But when they get in office, whether it's county, state, federal, all of a sudden the conservative part disappears and they go along with the status quo, and they cease communicating with their constituents and primary voters, except for the ones that gave them money. And then all they communicate with is the NGOs and special interests. Why do you think that is?
I don't think they really understand the electorate. And so you asked me to define a conservative, and I'll take a short approach to that. So if you think back to original time when the Constitution was written, our original Constitution. So there were 56 authors or signers to our Constitution, 56. Of those 56, 29 had divinity training. In other words, they were pastors. Of those 29 that had training, 19 were Presbyterian ministers. So constantly, while they were writing the Constitution, there were people on their knees praying for guidance for the Lord as we wrote our Constitution. And hence, that's where the term, where the Lord's hand was on us as we wrote the Constitution, American exceptionalism. That's where that term comes from, American exceptionalism. The hand of the Lord was upon us. So, and it's also the reason that we have so many Presbyterian forms of structure in our government, such as the county judge and the 4 county commissioners. That's a Presbyterian form. So in moving on from that, as they signed that Constitution and understanding American exceptionalism, that our Constitution, because of all that went into that and the guidance, there's no other Constitution like it on this planet that I'm aware of. If there is, it's been copied from us. But that American exceptionalism, that our Constitution is founded in Judeo-Christian law. Another word for that is Scripture. And so Scripture, in my experience, has not changed in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. That's pretty conservative. That's how I define conservatism, is that I discern problems and issues in life through my knowledge of Scripture, through my direction from Scripture. And so conservative is someone who wants very slow change, very small change from our Constitution. That would be me and many others. We want to adhere to the Constitution. We want to defend the Constitution. And so a conservative, again, that range under the big tent is all the way from liberal to fundamentalist. The conservative is right down the middle of the road. I lean a little to the fundamentalist side because I guess my personality is I make great effort to follow Scripture, but by the same token, you have to use a little wisdom in that we share this republic, this representative republic. We share it with the secular society. So we have to understand that we can't have everything our way because we'll get outvoted. So we do have to compromise, not because we want to, but because that is just as long as we have a secular society majority, it makes it difficult to maintain a conservative, strictly conservative position, because you do have to get along. You do have to live to fight another day, and you have to just keep working to stay with our Constitution and stay with our path as best as we possibly can. So William Buckley, who is a great conservative, always said, you want to support the candidate that is the most conservative and electable person running. So if you support people that are conservative, but they're just not electable, and there are a lot of them out there, then you defeat your purpose. So you have to support that person who's the most conservative, but also electable. It's not my choice, but it's what I have to deal with as far as looking for potential candidates out there, someone who is electable, who is as close to conservative as we can find, who has the morality. And that's one other point I'd like to make, is it's a huge point, that as a representative republic is based on morality. So the more you bring down morality, the more government and more laws you need in order to maintain your republic. And so when you look at the pull to the far left, when that pull is coming to the far left, that's why we see so many social things going on in our society that pulls down the morality, because that's how they get more government, more spending, and more control off to the left. So as you move back toward fundamentalism, you move towards less and less government. But we also have to understand that we have to have government, because the alternative to, say, just having limited government is no government. And the next step from no government is anarchy, which takes you right back to dictatorship, which is the long path around we took for centuries to finally get to this representative republic that we love. And so,
well, my question was, why do you think our elected officials change once they get elected? And the point I'm trying to make is, I believe it's because it's at the county level, and it's because we've gotten away from a sense of community, and our precinct chairs doing their job. Because if they did their job and were informing and communicating with the voters, then we would elect people that would be much more likely to represent them, because they would not need money to get elected, because they would be in communication with their precinct chairs, county chairs, and voters, and they would need to rely on these PACs and moneyed interest to get elected.
mm-hmm.
So my point is, it's a very simple problem to solve. We just need to do our job, rather than, in my opinion, a precinct chair or a county chair's political philosophy has nothing to do with their job. So if you want, to me, it's up to the voters to choose which direction to push the party, by showing up at their precinct conventions, by showing up at their county convention, putting forth resolutions that move to the state convention, that get voted on at the state convention, that become legislative priorities and are given to our legislatures. And those are what many of them can and often do become laws. So our individual political philosophy is, to me, irrelevant.
Well, we might agree to disagree on that, and I respect your opinion. But I think, so that's where we get back to the structure, order, and process, the system. So we've got a full-blown debate system coming, which we're starting it right now in this meeting tonight, because if you have scrutiny in debate, in other words, it's a competition of ideas, morality, ethics, and that candidate has to get up before the people and has to make the case for himself at the local county level or the district level, and he or she has to make that case. Then the scrutiny, not just one debate, but a series of debates. So it's a competition of ideas, because I believe in the electorate. I believe in the voter, that if the voter does take the time to listen to this debate that you and I are having, or forum that you and I are having, in other words, we're having a competition of ideas. Yeah. And it's okay if we disagree. That's okay. The competition of ideas is healthy. It's good. So when we have these debates, absolutely the primary voter. Wow, think about the power that the primary voter has.
Yeah,
for the ones that show up. The ones that show up to vote in the primary, which has only been running about 10 to 15% of all the registered voters. 10 to 15% of the voting electorate is showing up to vote in the primary system.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's just general apathy. If you look at this country, even with all of our problems, this is a great country. I mean, opportunity. Today, the opportunity to start a small business is the best I've ever seen. The demand for goods and services is still tremendous. There are reasons for that, but it's a wonderful place to be. The freedoms that we have, pardon me, and so I think the apathy comes from the fact that times are pretty good. The voters are noticing that they're getting a little nervous. I think especially in the first year or two of Biden, there was a lot of nervousness from what they were going to do, and the things they were going to try as far as a World Economic Forum and all those strategies they had in place to replace the dollar, which is still something that needs to be watched. The fact that we're printing money and we're running up a huge debt and how we're going to deal with that. Those are huge questions that have to be dealt with. And so this really comes right back to this forum. Let's think about this. This forum, the other debates that are going to happen here in the very near future in Potter and Randall County. So we really have to look at people's their vision. The best predictor of the future is to look what they've done in the past, the recent past, who and what they've been a part of recently. If they've been a part of some kind of cronyism in the past, that has to be pointed out in the debates, because we are individuals. I believe in individualism. And to me, individualism is your one-on-one relationship with the Lord God, the Creator, who endows you and me to this great representative republic that we have because of American exceptionalism. And so it's a tremendous place to live. People are enjoying life. They have disposable income for the most part. There's people out there who are hurting, people who need direction. And look at our school systems, look at what we're doing in the high schools and the Amarillo College to help people get training and help them get skills. We have industry in town, which that's one of the things that the county commissioners have responsibility for, is to bring new investment into the county, maybe not from outside the county, but to bring in new opportunities for investment. And so that's one of the dynamics that we all kind of have to be tuned into, is always trying to do our best to set the field so that the individual can perform at their desired level of performance in life, that it's an even playing field. And so that's where you and I come in as county chairs, is just watching what's going on, listening, giving input, helping to support different candidates to run at different times when there's a needed replacement or there's a needed open position. We just wear so many different hats. And so a lot of people are beginning to understand what a powerful position this is in your county government. The county chair, if you really do a good job, you're aware of how much it costs to do this job out of your own pocket. And so it's really truly public service. But if you do a good job, you've got a very healthy county. And we do have a platform, such as this evening. We have a platform to give our opinion and our vision of what we think needs to be done at a county level. But you know, we've got a lot of issues that we have to deal with. One of them, you know, that'll affect us countywide in every county is, you know, what's going to happen with the debt, the national debt. So that's one of my visions is I want to make sure our county government, our county systems are functioning at a very high level. So whatever happens in the future, with that debt, with the national government, with geopolitical situations around the world, that we're ready to handle whatever gets thrown at us. And one of my favorite lessons in life from my grandfather was he always used to tell us boys, I and my brother, he would tell us, fellas, you can't be ready for everything, but you can be ready for anything through your faith in the Creator, and the fact that you're working and communicating with other people. You're seeking counsel from other people, not just going on your own ideas, but seeking wise counsel from wise people. And the electorate, I've got great confidence in the electorate. If they get good information, I've seen the electorate time after time elect the best person possible if they have good information. And that's what the debates are all about. And that's what we're doing this evening.
So do you have a website or a way voters can get a hold of you if they want to learn more about you?
You bet. KellyGiles.org. 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 And also, I'm at the, you can reach me at kelly.giles@randallcountygop.com. And I'll just compliment my partner in Potter County. Dan, you've been very helpful with us in helping us set up our electronics and our social media. And I want to thank you here publicly. You've been very kind to us and very helpful. And I think that's something that's not my forte. My forte is in relationship building. And so I'm a little bit shy on the electronic side of it. So I appreciate that so much. And this beautiful situation you've got here with the studio and what you've done to get information out in your, and tell me, We the People, is that right?
Yeah, We the People Town Square.
We the People Town Square. That's a wonderful initiative, and we're happy to be part of it. And so it's, we are progressing. We are, I think, one of the model areas of the state and of the country. I think we can be that model. We can be that culture that people can assimilate to or shoot for. And so I'm very much looking forward to the elections. I'm learning more and more every year about politics. And my heart is with a representative republic. It's with the Constitution. It's with the electorate. And I'm just, every time we have an election, I'm just so proud of the people that go vote and take their stand, make their mark count. And I just, I get giddy sometimes. So I'll stop with that.
All right. Well, we want to commend you for having the courage to stand up and take over the Randall County chair position and throw your hat in the ring to do it for a couple more years. So
Yeah.
I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of courage. Put your neck out there, and it's not always a pleasant job.
Oh gosh, it's not tough. No, there's never any complaints. Never any complaints. But there are really good things that happen too. Yeah. And our elected officials.
Well, it's about the people. It's about the voters, and that's why I named our platform "We the People," because it's about the people, not the politicians, not government. It's about the individuals.
Absolutely. I believe in that sincerely. What I call American individualism. It's your faith relationship, and then the blessings that come from that. So you have the ability to live up to your talents and your capabilities in life. And we just want to make sure that those opportunities are maintained and that level playing field is out there.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming.
All right. Thank you, man.